What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman, the third of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over the social sphere at GBP Daily. Shoot me a follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate that. Hit me up in the DMs. I am always available to talk Packers anytime, any day, and today is Friday, December 12th. Happy Friday. Happy Broncos week, right? Big one on tap for us this weekend out in Denver. We've got a good shot here to really back up our expectations of being a Super Bowl contender with playing a Super Bowl contender in the Broncos on Sunday. They're 11-2. They are the current number one seed in the AFC, and I personally have had Super Bowl expectations for the Packers pretty much going back quite a while, and coming off a win over the then one seed in the NFC Chicago Bears. I think with a win this weekend over Denver, we'll be right at the top as far as favorites to win it all, right? And being favorites to win it all doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot, but we'll be right up there with the big dogs as far as who's got the best chance to win a Super Bowl. But we got to take care of business on Sunday, and it's going to be a tough one. Denver Broncos 11-2. They are on a 10-game win streak. They have not lost since September. Crazily enough. Big opportunity for Jordan too. He's quietly creeping up into the MVP conversation with the way that he's been playing as of late. And Sunday, if he can go out and put up, say, a 200 to 300 yard game, 2 or 3 touchdowns and no turnovers, and of course get the win, he will find himself near the top for that as well. Regardless of the MVP odds and all of that junk, he is playing like one of, if not the best quarterback in the league. And I think it's happening sort of under the radar-ish, if you will. At least from my perspective, I haven't seen a ton of, glazing as far as his quarterback play. Here and there, of course, a lot of it being Packers-related content creators and that sort of thing. Drake May, rightfully so, has got a lot of love. Matthew Stafford, in the year that he's having, getting a lot of notoriety, even after his 2-interception game against the Panthers, one of those being a pick six. And he also lost a fumble on that last drive of that game to lose the game. So Stafford is still getting some love. Bo Nix as well with the Broncos, rightfully so, getting some attention. But Jordan, by a lot of statistical measures, is playing at a top, towards the top, 2 to 3 quarterback level this season. Hopefully it continues into January and February because we're going to need it. So anybody contemplating going to the game this weekend? Maybe you're thinking of heading out to Denver. Maybe you're in Denver. You're a Packers fan in Colorado thinking, hey, I want to go to the game. Where do I get tickets? Or maybe you're thinking of going to Chicago next weekend. Or maybe you're thinking of going to the Ravens game, the last home game of the year up in Green Bay here in a few weeks. If you are and you don't have tickets, do not buy your tickets anywhere else other than TickPick. They guarantee the cheapest Packers tickets on the market. And in fact, if you find cheaper tickets elsewhere, they will refund you 110% of your money back. Same tickets as everybody else: StubHub, SeatGeek, Vivid Seats, Ticketmaster, Game Time, all those guys. And TickPick is still the cheapest every single time. Use the code Packers22 for an extra $22 off the already cheapest tickets on the market. Shout out to TickPick. They are the best in the biz. Let's hop into the comment section here, shall we? And as always, if you want to be a part of the show, give me a call on the Nicolet Law hotline, 319-242-2332. Family owned and operated since 2007. With decades of combined legal experience, Nicolet Law's team of compassionate local attorneys are prepared to meet your unique legal challenges head on. Nicolet Law is just shy of 2,000 5-star reviews, and they have helped their clients recover over $350 million in the last 17 years that they have been in business. Injured, get Nicolet. All right, guys, what do we got going on in the chat? Appreciate you all for hopping in. Beautiful Friday afternoon. Phil is in the house. Why did they put you in the basement closet? Watch out for the sump pump. Yeah, Phil, I am in a different location today. I'm over at my grandma's house in La Crosse, Wisconsin. So kind of right by you, Phil, right? You're in Minnesota. Where are you at exactly? I got to be somewhat close to you. La Crosse is right on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin on the Mississippi. Thankfully, yeah, that's where my family's from, La Crosse. And they're all Packers fans, right? I think about this often. And if my family would have lived 2-3 miles west, that would put them in Minnesota. And I most likely would have grown up to be a Minnesota Vikings fan. How absolutely awful would that have been? That would have been terrible. So I'm thankful, so thankful that my family lives on the right side of the Mississippi and are all Packers fans because, yeah, I don't think I would have the passion for football or the NFL if I was a Vikings fan. There's no history, there's no nothing if you're a Vikings fan in their history that is joyful to look back on and appreciate. And obviously with the Packers, that is completely different. So Phil, La Crosse proper or on Alaska? Oh, I love how you asked that question. La Crosse proper. Yep. My uncle's up in Alaska, got some family over in Holman. So, yeah, I am in La Crosse. Love being up here. Absolutely. Thank you, Phil, for hopping in. What else we got? Newton. Josh Jacobs going to go this weekend? Newton, I think so. He practiced today in a limited fashion. So that's good to see after not practicing the last 2 days. I feel like at this point in his career where he really doesn't necessarily need to be out there at practice every single day. And he definitely does not need a full week's worth of practice to be ready for Sunday. So I bet he goes on Sunday. I hope he goes. We're going to need him. As much faith as I have in Emmanuel Wilson, this Broncos defense is a lot different than that Vikings defense that Emmanuel had success against a few weeks ago. So many are calling this Denver Broncos defense the best in the league, rightfully so, because they are legit. So especially their front seven, that's kind of where they get after everybody. So Newton, I bet he goes, but something to monitor for sure as the weekend goes on. Appreciate you for hopping in, Newton. Thank you. What else we got? My man King AJ in the house as always. Appreciate you. Officially hyped for this week. A lot of talk I've seen is Jordan Love folds against elite defenses. They say we have bum receivers, overrated quarterback, overrated defense. Time to silence some doubters. King AJ, I'm with you. It's time to shut him up, right? Jordan Love is playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. We played some good defenses. The Browns. Why did I mention that game? Of course, it's a loss. We played some good defenses for sure, though, and he's been playing lights out since we've let him air it out. Since Christian Watson's been back, Jaden Reed's going to be back, even more snaps this weekend. I'm excited for Jordan's opportunity to try and creep up those MVP rankings and the MVP ladder. I'm excited to just show that we can, run with the big dogs. And that's who we're playing this weekend is a big dog in the Denver Broncos, the number 1 AFC seed, the 11-2, 10-game win streak, all of that stuff. Time to end that streak on Sunday. So can't wait. I cannot wait. Samuel, is Golden going to be involved, or do I give it up with Reed back? It's a tough question because he's been dealing with that injury, right? And there really hasn't been any, clarity as far as exactly how he's doing this week. Kind of the same old story. We'll see how he goes this week in practice. And last week he was active, but was still having some issues, which is why we saw Bo Melton out there. And so we'll see, right? Hopefully this weekend he can give it a go and get back out there, because when he has gotten the ball thrown his way, he's caught it every single time. He's got strong hands. He's a good route runner. I mean, we need to get him involved, but he also needs to get healthy, and that's been a big burden for him so far this year. Hopefully this weekend that changes, Samuel. Thank you for hopping in. Have yourself a great Friday, Samuel. Haley, what is the vibe check? I'm worried this will be like the matchup back in 2015. I'm feeling pretty dang good. And Haley, 2015 was over a decade ago. Come on now. I get it though. We don't play the Broncos that often. And I will admit that game has popped up in my head a few times just because, we don't play them that often. So you think back on past matchups. And yeah, 2015 was a tough one. We lost 29-10. I think Rodgers had like 70 some passing yards in that game. The Denver Broncos were stacked on defense. They went on to win the Super Bowl and smacked the who was that? The Seahawks, right? Or was that Seahawks or Broncos? I can't remember. Or Seahawks or Panthers. I think it was the Seahawks they smacked, but could be wrong. But 2015 was over a decade ago, right? Nobody's on our team from that year. Different coach, different players, different everything, different president, right? So hopefully things are different on Sunday. It will be different. You heard it here first. So thank you, Haley. What else we got? My man Nick in the house. I saw that the Broncos run one high safety lot, which obviously is a huge advantage for the Packers, especially on deep shot. My only concern is the O-line. Wonder how much time J-Leb will have. That is the concern, right? How long can the offensive line hold up? That's when I was talking about Emmanuel Wilson earlier, about the success that he had against the Vikings. More so, I'm talking about the offensive line. That Vikings, defensive front is a lot weaker than what this Broncos front seven is going to be. And if they're up for the task, I hope they are. Hopefully they can make some holes for Josh Jacobs if he's able to go, and hopefully they can hold up to give Jordan some time to get down the field and throw those deep shots that he's been money on these last few weeks. Thank you, Nick. Have yourself a great Friday. Nate Smith, scheme up against Riley Moss. He leads the league, or close to, in defensive DPIs down the field. Yeah, he has, right? And I've seen a lot of slander towards him. And he's been playing. It seems like he's always in position, but he's always grabbing and always doing a little bit extra to get called. So, hey, if he's still doing that, throw it his way, and we'll take 15 yards every single time. So thank you, Nate. Appreciate you as always, my man. Jason, any Marshawn Lloyd news? Jason, none other that I'm aware of, other than he's practicing. Coach was asked about the possibility of him playing this weekend, and he said his usual, that is yet to be determined type of answer. You don't really get actual news out of most of Matt's pressers, which that's the way he's always gone about them. I wish he was a little more transparent, but that's just the way it goes, I guess. I doubt we see him out there this weekend or anytime soon, really. I personally am just happy to see him practicing. He's been MIA for majority of his career since we drafted him. But Samuel, I'm with you. So yeah, I'm just happy to see him practicing, to be honest. So thank you, Jason. Appreciate you. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me today. Thank you again for tuning in. Always, always, always love talking Packers with you guys. Hit me up on social media at GBP Daily. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Any sort of interaction helps myself and helps the page. I will be back and at it again tomorrow. Thank you again for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Friday, and I will catch you guys later. Thank you.